Welcome to BIBO Weekly's Winner's Circle. I'm Tracy S. Campbell, and you are here in the Winner's Circle where winning is always a part of our conversation. I'm so excited to bring the BIBO brand here to this awesome network, Win Win Women. And we're here because we know that the information that we're going to share is going to help you win in every aspect of your life. Now, of course, we concentrate a lot on business and entrepreneurship, but the information you're going to get here in the Winner's Circle is going to help you excel and win more than that. Okay, so we're excited to be here. Now, BIBO stands for Beauty In, Beauty Out. We've been around since 2013, and we've been in the business of empowering, helping, educating, celebrating, lifting up women and youth from all walks of life. And we're going to talk about more of the BIBO brand a little later in the show. But right now, we're going to get about the business of the Winner's Circle. Now, joining me today is this lovely lady here. She is one of our lovely contributors to our B Zone platform, which is our AM/FM radio show and podcast. And guess what? She's also a mindset coach. And at the top of a new year, everyone, it is so important that we do our part to exercise our mental and emotional muscles and get ready to lay the foundation for a great new year. Please join me in welcoming Debbie Pickus. Hey there, Debbie.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for having me. It's very exciting to be on this first show that you're doing.
Glad to have you here. Now, of course, you and I talk quite a bit, and you, again, contribute so much value to our radio show and podcast and more. So we're glad to have you here in the Winner's Circle.
Appreciate it.
Yes. And today, Debbie, as I said, we need to talk about navigating, as I'm going to say, navigating everyone, these treacherous waters of 2020, 2021, and this pandemic and all those things that have been happening. We've all been impacted by the pandemic. Social issues, financial issues, race issues, all sorts of things have been going on. And most people, Debbie, and you know this, most people at the top of a new year, they purpose to have resolutions. I prefer goals. I prefer that word. And yet we're inundated with all this other stuff. So today we want to talk about how to navigate this challenging time personally, our own mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
We want to talk about our relationships, our loved ones, our friends, our colleagues, in handling that whole situation. And then lastly, today, we want to talk about that passion project, that thing you most want to do, and how you can achieve all of that and still deal with these challenging times. Debbie, let's start with the personal. Let's start with the actual person. I know you and I've talked about this. You've shared some of this valuable information on our other platforms. What can we do, given all the things that we're all dealing with? What can we do to begin to start paying better attention to our mental and emotional health?
We talked about we have talked about this a lot, and one of the things that and there's going to be a theme through all three of these topics that we're discussing, and that is alignment. And what I mean by that is that understanding ourselves, understanding what really is important to us personally, and taking the time to quiet down from all the noise. So I've got a couple of recommendations about what people can do, but I wanted to bring up that theme of alignment because it's so important. And that is a thing that is going to need to be prevalent across all these topics. So the first thing and how to become aligned is really getting quiet, taking some time. There's so much noise. There's so much incoming. There's so much social media. There's so much news. There's so many just people in your life. There's so much like unknown. There's all these things happening with all of this. There's an underlying sense of fear, I think, in people. And that fear is also prevalent across all those topics. And so it's really important, first and foremost, to take some time for self-care and to quiet down. And so ways you can do that are I'm going to say meditation.
Okay.
I know some people think meditation is like, I'm sitting here for an hour and I've maybe got like some weird music going and all those. It can be. It doesn't have to be. Really, it just requires a little bit of silence. Maybe first thing in the morning when, instead of jumping out of bed and hitting the alarm and getting the kids their breakfast and running and racing, maybe you take 1 minute. 2 minutes, right? That's really all it takes. It doesn't require this huge amount of time, but it just requires confirming to yourself that that's important to you, right? And committing to it. Just take a minute or two and just be quiet. And it's okay if you have thoughts. Like, I think sometimes people think, oh my God, I have to have no thoughts to do this. No, it's okay. Just allow whatever happens and just get in tune with yourself, because that will really bring up what's really going on for you. So that is the number one thing that I recommend.
Okay. So Debbie, for those that may be taking notes right now, because they're going to put this information to work, actionable steps, everybody, actionable steps. The first thing is meditation, or getting into the habit of meditating. And like you said, Debbie, it doesn't have to be this new agey thing of sitting in a room with a candle going It doesn't have to be that, right?
Not required.
Okay, awesome. So that's number one, everybody. Meditation and being more mindful of incorporating meditation into your life this year.
Right. Meditation, or even just a few minutes of silence. So if the meditation word is scary to you or weird to you, just silence, turn off the phones, turn off everything else, get internal, allow yourself to just feel what's going on for you. Great. That would be the first thing. The second thing that I thought of, which you and I have talked about, is limit the amount of incoming that's happening.
Yes.
We have to have our phones and our computers, and there's a lot of things that we do need to make our life work. But use it for the things that you need, not there's a person in my life that the phone is glued to her all the time, never turns off. And while she's trying to do other things, and that isn't healthy. And not only that, it helps create the stress level.
Absolutely.
So wherever you can eliminate things that are not absolutely necessary for you. And again, it's not always going to be as simple as that sounds, but just be aware, take a look. Do I actually really need to check my phone every 10 minutes? Do I need to have the TV on all the time? Do I need to read the newspaper? Do I need to be scrolling Facebook and the arguments that are happening in there,
Exactly.
So just taking that time, again, alignment, knowing what's important to me, what can I let go of, right? Like, I love this idea of, there's always a word at the beginning of the year, like, what's your word for the year? And I've come up with, what is something that you can eliminate this year? Something that really doesn't serve you.
That's right. That's right.
So eliminate.
I love it. So again, everyone, and my job, everyone, today is to be the recapper. Okay, the recapper. Because
I'm trying to keep track.
You like that, Debbie, the recapper, because we want to make sure that you get this down and put it into use. So first, meditation, make it simple on yourselves. Don't complicate it. And then second, making sure, and Debbie, correct me if I'm wrong, making sure that you are in alignment with your purpose for this year. Did I get that right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, like I said, that alignment word is going to filter through all the conversation that we're having today.
Yes.
But yes, meditate, eliminate.
Okay.
I'm going with the H on the ends.
I love it. I love it. Meditate and eliminate. So meditate on the things that you want, the things that you want to draw to you, the things that are important to you, and eliminate the things that are clutter, that are self-defeating. And that way you will be in alignment. And
you're going to love the third one.
Can't wait.
Create.
Okay.
I just made it up. I went with the rhyme thing and I just made it up. But really, then you can create. You can create the kind of life you want.
Yes.
You can take time in that silence, that meditation, in the decluttering or removing of the things that don't serve, but to then invite back in and create how you want your life to be and how you want to be.
Love it. Love it. So meditate, number one, eliminate, number two. And if you do those two things, obviously you'll be in a better position to create, number three. Okay. So we got those things that you can do right now for your personal, mental, and emotional health, starting in this crazy year that we're crazy time, I should say, that we're in. So that kind of takes care of the personal, Debbie, right? I think that's a great start. And I know, and of course, Debbie's going to be back with us periodically. So I'm sure we'll elaborate even more on all those concepts. But if you get that down, that's half the battle. So now let's focus on the relationships.
Okay.
All of us have loved ones. We adore them, but that doesn't mean that they're always healthy individuals mentally and emotionally, right? That doesn't always, the two don't always go together. And then we also have our coworkers,
right?
Our colleagues, our business colleagues. Again, these are folks that we may actually really like, but they're bringing their own personal baggage and so forth into the workplace. And of course, if you're around someone long enough, it's going to rub off on you. So how do we then, Debbie, now that we're shifting to the relationships in our lives, romantic, family, business, all of those are various types of relationships. How can we now better equip ourselves to deal with all these external forces around us that are probably naysayers? Some of them are just downright fearful, given the world we live in, but yet we're trying to stay above that in order to meet our goals.
Right. So if we take what we got from the personal and we bring that into our relationships, again, now you've shored yourself up, right? Against, the storms or whatever is coming at you, because you're elevating yourself in those ways. Understand that as strongly as each of us believes in our own opinion, whether it's, we know there's a million things related to the pandemic and all the things. We don't even need to go into them, but there are some very strong opinions on both sides of the equation. Understanding that as strongly and as fiercely as each of us feels about our beliefs, that person on the other side feels exactly the same way about their own. So, if you can put yourself in someone else's shoes, you can kind of understand where they might be coming from. You may not agree, but understand that they're as fiercely believing as you are about your side. As far as managing the fear or the relationships with loved ones at home, a lot of us are working from home and we're in a home with somebody all the time, or 90% of the time. Again, I think it's having open dialogue. It's having conversations to explain what you're feeling. I'm feeling afraid today. I just heard this thing and I'm really scared, or I don't feel that well. I don't know, or I'm worried about my parents, or whatever it is. Everything's going to be communication in a relationship. And I am not a relationship expert, but I know that understanding that we're each coming from a certain place and just being open to listening to that partner will help. And again, shoring up, like I took from point one, is when you're feeling strong and powerful and you know what you're creating and you're being, because you've up-leveled your vibrational energy and all these things have a tendency to bounce off you than get in.
Yeah.
I will give, this is a humorous idea, but this is something I do because sometimes you have to visualize a little bit.
Yes.
I've had situations in the past where somebody was maybe really negative coming in, and I didn't want that coming in. And so if any of you ever saw like one of the original Batmans where he like talks in that little thing and he says shields, and the shields like go up on the car. I actually
where are you going with this, Debbie?
I actually do that when when there's incoming. Yeah. I imagine that I said that and my shields came up. I'm not lying.
That is too funny.
Yeah, you know what? But I mean, the thing is, sometimes we need to just prepare our brain to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
And if you need a crazy visual like that, or if there's something else you can do, or if it's go to a beautiful place, whatever thing works for you to just like not let it come in. right? We want to give people an opportunity to share how they're feeling and what's going on with them, but we also have to protect ourselves. So however you need to protect yourselves. So it can be shields. It can be, I went to a beach in Tahiti. That's my partner's
whatever works, whatever. So the key, so now we're talking about dealing with, again,
Yes.
the people around us, our relationships, whether they're work relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships. And so the takeaway, because I think this would be number 4, for
Okay.
those of you that are taking notes, the first 3 apply to our person, our actual person. Now we're going to talk about those relationships. And so I think this would be number 4, and that's having some type of visualization or a way mentally to set a boundary. A good way to
boundaries.
Yeah.
Perfect word. Boundaries. You create boundaries and stick with those boundaries. Unless you decide, it's okay. I'm going to let this boundary go right now because I'm okay. But you have to decide for yourself.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not creating boundaries, people, they can't read your mind. They don't know what's not happening. So yes, thank you for summing up that whole thing into boundaries.
As a boundary. Like whether it's a visual, like you said, a mental boundary that you invoke yourself, the person may not know you're doing it, but you know you're doing it. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Or I guess it could also be, and Debbie, correct me if I'm wrong, it could also be a verbal boundary, right? It could be something that you say, or you set the stage, if you will, with your friends, family, loved ones, that, you know, hey, I know you feel this way. I know you think this. However, this is what I want to think or choose to think. And then we're just going to have to agree to disagree and really, really hold people to that boundary.
Yeah. You know, one thing I also like is that telling somebody, I hear that you need this right now, or I understand right this minute, I don't have the capacity to whatever. I don't have the capacity to listen. I don't have the capacity to handle this. You know, can we talk later, or can you give me some time, or I need some quiet time. I can't have all this coming in. I just think that we all have to be strong enough to speak our mind about what's important. And I'm thinking personal relationships at the office with coworkers. Sometimes, again, you're just powerful and you know what you're creating for yourself, and you can't control other people.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely. So that's the key takeaway, because I think you're right. If we were all better at setting boundaries, whether they're verbal boundaries with a person or mental boundaries, as in the shields, we would do a lot better.
Right. And even the boundaries we set with the kind of people we're going to hang around with, right? I mean, if there's certain people that they make you feel bad, they make you feel not powerful. Those are the people that you can limit their time, you know, as we talked about in the first episode, the first
section. Yeah.
Yes.
So again, we have the
Tracy's doing a great job of you're going to be like number 975.
We have the 8s. Okay. We have the meditate, we have the eliminate, and then we have the create. Okay. So that's all for our personal. I love it. That's for our personal. When it comes to other people, we have boundary setting, whether it's a visualization, like in Debbie's case, Batman, or
shields. You got to have the cool little thing. And
if you're less creative than Debbie, it can literally be a verbal boundary that you articulate to someone, right? Either way, we have this notion of a boundary. So now let's move into our passion, the thing that we most want to do, the thing that, okay, if we can handle ourselves, we've got ourselves under control mentally, emotionally, we can handle our loved ones, our family, our friends, our coworkers. We're setting boundaries. Now, I think we're in pretty good shape to now begin to talk about how do we now mentally and emotionally get that passion project, or get that business or that nonprofit, whatever it is that you're purposing to do, to get it off the ground. But yet we're still inundated with the challenges of this world right now. Debbie, what do you think we could do there?
Well, again, that fear factor. I heard something great on a podcast the other day, and it's if we're in so much fear of what if I can't get this off the ground? What if I lose my
Exactly.
money? What if I, what if nobody buys it? What if,
Yeah.
what if we're not living in the present and where we are right now? We're not appreciating the people that are around us. We're not appreciating what we do have to offer or what we can create.
Yeah.
For this, again, alignment, but I say that understanding what is it that you're trying to put out there. And it depends, for everybody, it's something different, right? Like you mentioned a few different things. Who wins? Who needs to hear or get the gift that you are trying to put out in the world? Imagine those people. Like, if I actually am able to do this, if I keep working, if I just put my head down, if I open my brain up and I can think of like, what resources do I need and who can I reach out to and all these things, who are you going to, who's going, hi, Tamara. I just saw Tamara jumped in. Who will win if I get this out? Conversely, who loses if I end up giving up? Who loses?
Wow. That is so, and Debbie, the reason why I'm wowing is that none of us, I think I can speak for almost all of us, if we're being honest, I think all of us are guilty of not thinking from that perspective. Yeah. I don't know anyone, I can't think of anyone, myself included, that when you're going through that self-doubt and that worry and all those things, now I can't think of one person that has said, I got to get over myself, because A, B, C, D type of person out there really needs what I have. So I got to get over myself so that I can deliver this, because that is my job or my mission or my purpose, if you will, to deliver that. I don't know anyone that really thinks that way, but what you said is absolute gold, or gems, as I like to say, an absolute gem, because if we all began to really think that way, we would do a lot more, and we wouldn't let the current state of affairs get in the way of that.
Right. Or, you go to pick up the phone. Oh, I'm going to bother somebody. Oh, they probably can't afford it. Oh, they're not going to be interested. Oh, this, oh, that. We have all these reasons. And really, it's who misses out. I mean, I know people that have a desire to impact millions of people, thousands, millions, hundreds of thousands of people. If they give up, if they decide that, okay, well, it's not going to work out, or I'm not good enough, or I don't know the right people, or I'm just too tired today, I don't feel like it, or whatever reason it is. Yeah, people miss out. Like, that gift that you have needs to be out there in the world.
Yeah.
And so very important.
Love it. Love it. So everyone, we have covered a lot of ground in a really short period of time. And these are gems, okay, because these are things that, again, actionable, that's my word, actionable. You can actually use them. You can actually put them into practice. And on top of that, it sets the stage. It really does, for the rest of the year, what you're purposing to do, because now you're getting your mental and your emotional state in order. You're getting your mental and emotional affairs in order. So once again, we're going to recap. And for those of you taking notes, make sure you're in alignment. I'm going to use your word, Debbie. Make sure that you're in alignment with this conversation. Okay, so number one, we talked about the personal, your personal mental and emotional health. And we did the 3 8s. Okay, first was meditate. And it doesn't have to be the new agey, sit in the floor with a candle and go for an hour. Okay, it doesn't
love
have
your
to
description.
Be, I mean, if you choose to do that, everyone, that's fine, that's great, but it doesn't have to be that in order to be effective. Okay, it's really just aligning with what it is that you really want and focusing on that. So meditate. The next one, under the personal category, we talked about eliminate. We talked about eliminating things, eliminating people, eliminating situations that are going to get in the way of your mental and emotional health this year. Okay, you have to do that, the 3 8s. Okay, so that's what we talked about for your personal. Then we moved into the relationships in your life. We talked about your personal relationships, your romantic, I should say, relationships, your family relationships, and of course, your coworkers and your colleagues. And we talked about boundary. That was the overarching word. In the case of Debbie, she likes a visual boundary, the Batman analogy with shields going up. Okay, whatever you can create, or like you said, Debbie, sitting on a beach in Tahiti, whatever you have to do to set a boundary when folks are going off the rails, when folks are just inundating you with their negativity, you have to have a emotional and mental boundary that you go to. And then my personality, I probably would also combine that with a verbal boundary, respectfully, but firmly letting them know where the line is in terms of what you're willing to hear and take in and what you're not. Okay, so that's dealing with others. Okay, and then lastly, we talked about that passion project, that thing that you are purposing to do. You've taken care of yourself, you've taken care of dealing with others, but now you have to take care of that purpose, that passion that you have. And you can't let the pandemic or any other disaster or political situation or social situation get in the way. And Debbie, I love what you said there. Think about who is going to suffer, who is going to be left aside or led astray because you didn't do what you were purposed to do out of fear and out of the current state of affairs. So I think that's a powerful list, Debbie. Did I hit everything? Did I get everything right on the list?
I think you did. I think you did a great job.
I think we both did a great job tonight. I think we did. Everyone, of course, Debbie Pickus is a mindset coach. She's a regular contributor on our social media and media platforms. Debbie, someone that's listening to this right now, if they want to connect more directly with you, how can they do that?
I'm going to recommend LinkedIn because it's just my first name, Debbie, and my last name, Pickus, and the company is Team Fireball. They can also find me at my website, www.team-fireball.com, and just hit the contact us button and let everybody know that you heard me on this show. But those are the two best ways.
Wonderful.
Right
well,
now.
Everyone, again, you're going to be seeing more of Debbie in the coming weeks, and we're going to continue throughout the year, peppered in with all the other great things we're going to be talking about. We're going to be coming back to this topic of mindset, emotional and mental health, and your mindset is extremely important no matter what you purpose to do. Now, if you want to connect more directly with BIBO, Beauty In, Beauty Out, our brand that's been around since 2013, we've done a lot of great things. We're continuing to do great things. You can check us out at worldofbibo.com. That's world of BIBO.com. You can go to that website, get all the information on our main portal, including access to our other media projects, our AM/FM radio and podcast, TV show, training, and so much more that we do over there at BIBO. And next week, everyone, you want to make sure you tune in, because next week we are going to start putting some incredible products in the Win Win Women store. That's right. Win Win Women Network has a store. And in that store, there's all sorts of great things that you can get your hands on that's going to help you. All these products are going to help you in so many aspects of your life. And we are going to contribute there as well. More information is coming on that, how you can plug into the Win Win Women store, get your hands on some of our products and so much more. We're going to give you more information on that starting next week. Debbie, again, thank you so much for being here in the Winner's Circle. So glad to have you.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. And yes, and we're going to see you again very, very soon. And everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Now, we're going to be back next week with another great guest that's going to give you more gems, that's right, that you can use in your life so that you will always, position yourself to always be a winner. And I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. We'll visit us again next week, where winning, the notion of winning, is always a part of our conversation. Take care in this crazy world that we're living in, everyone. Make sure you stay healthy. I always say this: stay healthy, stay safe, most of all, stay blessed. We'll see you next week.